As we had last left it off, the party continued to gather allies, information, all manners of bits and pieces that will help in their fight against the king and Edgar. The party is elected to split up. Half of the party heading towards Fili-Durzan, the other half going to see Timothy Tipper, his headquarters in the frontier. Using addresses for teleportation circles given to you by Loic and his half-elf spies, you've been able to transport yourself to the individual places. Members of the Tipper group immediately found themselves surrounded by crossbows and demands to know who they are. The group who went to Fili-Durzan saw an overlook of the entirety of the city and the damage that had been done to it in the south section of the city because of the royal armies. And that was where we had left it off. So, I present to you guys, who would like to go first?
Happy to do Tipper stuff.
Okay.
Before I do actually do Tipper stuff, though, have I met Timothy Tipper before?
Never.
Okie doke. Do I know if there's any sort of title or thing that he gets called among the Tippers, or?
I think people just call him Mr. Tipper.
Okie doke. Got to be respectful to your boss the first time you meet him.
So, Arrabella, Rennas, and Verity, you find yourselves in the middle of a sandstorm in a canyon-esque area. It is difficult to see. The wind is blowing all around you, the sand immediately getting into your eyes, the various nooks and crannies of your clothing, your shoes. It's awful. And you stand there with the shaped out, kind of shadowy figures in the sandstorm, which you take to be members of the Tippers. Their familiar sounds of the clicking of crossbows has drawn your eyes to the attention that they have trained on you. And as they have asked these questions and you have answered, there is one individual stepping towards you. His green cloak billows intensely with the wind. The sand forms almost a secondary layer of skin over a scaly, rough exterior. You can see a rather nice looking longbow attached to his back, and his ears are all like almost fin-like in nature. He carries himself with an air of ability, an air of importance. You see a black dragonborn coming towards you.
This isn't Blade.
Tender, is he?
This is not Blade, no.
Okay, so as you started describing, that's what I assumed it was going to be.
In my head, it's the bartender that was in the Brine pub.
Gothy is dead.
He's dead. Blade killed him.
Oh crap!
Because Gothy ordered us to shoot Edgecombe after we made a deal. We said no. Yeah.
Not Edgecombe. Half-Tree.
Half-Tree. Yeah. Well done. We'll get there in the end.
I'm afraid Edgecombe was already dead by that point.
Yeah. Not by my hand. I will greet this guy coming towards us. I will say hello.
How, pray tell, did you find out about our teleportation circle? Who gave you the address, the coordinates?
Very good friend of ours has done some research into the area, and he provided us with this. He is a member of the organisation. I don't know if you're aware of someone called Loic, but he is part of our organisation, and he managed to acquire the teleportation circle.
Yes, the half-elf rebel. I am familiar with him. I wasn't aware that he had stolen our address, for we never gave it to him.
Well, for that, I must apologise. He did not make that clear when he provided us with these coordinates. We were just keen to meet Blade as he summoned me here some time ago now, and I have been distracted, and I have made full haste to get here as quick as I could, which is why we used this circle. Not Blade, Timothy Tipper, sorry.
At least we've exposed a weakness now.
Indeed.
Well,
Mr. Tipper has been waiting for you.
You had it fairly well guarded, to be fair.
We try our best.
I'm sure had you come here with...
to take you. Sorry, I keep on interrupting each other.
No, I think there's a little bit of delay tonight. I was just saying, I'm sure had we meant ill intentions, then we would have been full of crossbow bolts before we could have done a thing to you.
Well, we don't tend to shoot somebody before we get all the information we need out of them. Have you given us all the information we need out of you?
Not at all. That's why I have been asked here by Mr. Tipper himself.
Well then, men, you may lower your crossbolts. We won't be shooting you today. And you see the people in the sands stand down. They back off a little bit to kind of lose their outlook, their visage in the storm.
Taking a quick look around, roughly how many do I think there were?
Make a perception check.
Oh, this will go well, as it always does. 14.
Half a dozen? Half a dozen, maybe?
Okay. That's not very many at all.
The Dragonborn goes on to say, I'll be more than happy to take you to your boss. But we can't go anywhere at the moment, not until this sandstorm clears. Hope you like soup.
Sure, anything hot will be a nice welcome meal.
Oh, you like hot, do you? They have an affinity for spices around these parts.
I just met the temperature, but I enjoy a bit of spicy food.
Brave man. Let's see if his tongue can be as brave. Come with me. And he walks away from you guys, gesturing for you to follow him.
I obviously do.
Okay.
Look back at the others.
So you walk for about 30 seconds before you now come up to an inclination into the canyon itself, which very much quickly turns into kind of a cave, really. But you wouldn't have thought it's a cave. You would have thought... It's odd. As soon as you walk over a specific threshold, do you understand that it's much more wider than you originally suspected? Verity, you would recognize the effects of this. Certain spells can create hallucinatory terrains and the like. You get the feeling that you've just crossed the threshold of one of those. But Arrabella, you definitely recognize that spell. That was hallucinatory terrain.
What, the sandstorm?
No, the mouth of the canyon inclination that you just walked to.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as you step onto the other side, sandstorm is still prevalent, but there's a lot more cover towards it, and the cave itself goes back about 30 feet or so. You can see about a dozen people or so, all dressed in similar hoods. They're currently sitting around two separate fireplaces with two pots currently on the stuff, or over the actual fire pits themselves. They are currently just sitting around. They keep their eyes trained on you, but you get the feeling they are just waiting for the sandstorm to pass. This Dragonborn shakes off the second layer of sand that he's accumulated for himself, then immediately takes a seat over towards one of the fireplaces and scoops himself a pot of this stew. What would you guys like to do?
Is there like a free seat around one of these fireplaces that I could also go and sit down and scoop a pot of stew or soup?
Yeah. So as soon as you sit down, one of the tippers offers you a bowl. You take it. You scoop it out, like looking at this liquid. It's kind of a brownish kind of liquid, bubbling. There are red strips in there with green strips. You can take them as vegetables. A few herbs around. It certainly has an aroma around it.
Are my nostrils on fire just from smelling it?
They certainly flare up.
I will take a timid spoonful and just test it out.
Ooh. If you took a whole mouthful of that, that would be quite the dish.
Is there a supply
you see the Dragonborn, and he's just drinking it from the bowl. Puts the bowl down and looks at you.
Is there a supply of water around?
Oh yes, there's a couple of casks of water nearby.
I pour myself a large mug of water and then proceed to try and eat the soup.
Alright, just go ahead and make a constitution check for me, please.
11.
Barely, about 4 bites into it, you've got to dunk your head in one of the water bales because, oh my god, that's on! Oh my god, that's on! And the other tip is just like... Dragonborn just goes, can't handle this spice.
How embarrassing.
The Dragonborn looks towards you, Verity, you, Arrabella, and says, well, young ladies, care to partake?
Sure, why not? So I'll go sit down next to Rennas, have a bowl.
No, just make a quick constitution check for me, please, Arrabella.
Mine is just as bad as Rich's, so yeah, rolled worse.
You, after about 4 bites, you run around the building, just run around the camp, go, It's quite the humorous sight for the tippers, where you're normally quite stoic. You can see the Dragonborn just smirk to himself.
The local cuisine might take some getting used to.
No, I know prestidigitation can make something taste better, but I don't think it can change the taste. I don't think it can eliminate spices.
I'm wondering if I should have used absorb elements on the bloody soup.
Yeah. You chill what flavour at 1 cubic foot of it. It's difficult to tell on that one, Verity. You can certainly try and see what happens.
Wouldn't they be like offended if, you know, kind of like someone like pouring loads of salt into their soup or like covering it in ketchup?
All I'm imagining.
Talking, I can't hear her.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, and the pizza arrived exactly the second the session started.
We got the pizza and I'm so hungry. Yeah, I'm going to use prestidigitation. I'm going to guide myself. And I'll eat them.
2 spells just to eat soup.
So, okay, guidance is not going to work on this one because Steve is not willing to Steve is not willing to share his power for you to guidance on changing the flavour or something. That's a gross misuse of his power.
I want to survive the spice! Fine.
You're not going
Okay, as a person who IRL can't handle spice.
Neither can I.
Okay, so what is it? A Constitution saving throw?
No, just a constitution check, just to see how well your palate can take it.
Oh!
Arrabella, just as soon as you kind of like get a hold of your tongue a little bit, you get pushed over by Verity, who's reacting even worse than you did, and she is running around, almost literally breathing out fire. She dunks her head inside the water bale, and the tippers just have a roaring good laugh at all three of you for not being able to handle any spice whatsoever.
Nice.
You guys wait around for the better part of a couple of hours, until eventually the sandstorm begins to die down, and almost within literally a couple of minutes, it just disappears altogether. The Dragonborn looks at all of you and says, "Right, well, we've got between an hour to 3 hours before that starts up again. Keep your eye on the terrain and keep your eye out for any possible sources of shelter, because it can come as quickly as it left, and you don't want to get caught in that sort of stuff."
Thank you for the warning.
We don't have to go far, only about 30 minutes or so we should be okay. So, the tippers gather their things together. They leave a small contingent of people behind just to keep an eye on the teleportation circle, and they head off. Walking down the canyon, eventually it splits out to a much more of a rocky terrain kind of place, but with like lots of dunes everywhere. And this Dragonborn is leading you along with a contingent of tippers with himself. And he says to you, "You're probably wondering why we don't have the teleportation circle in our actual base."
Well, I just assumed you found a unused one and acquired it rather than creating your own.
Yeah, no, we've got a couple of mages and we built this one ourselves, and we did have a teleportation circle in our old headquarters in the capital, and that is exactly how our enemy got the drop on us the first time. So we're not going to let that mistake happen again.
A wise precaution.
But I hope you got plenty of water with you, because this is going to get real hard, especially for you non-scaly types. Welcome to the frontier.
Yes, I definitely planned ahead and made sure I took extra water before coming to the desert.
Right, so can I get survival checks from you three, please? As you begin the journey towards the Tipper HQ. Okay, so Arri and Rennas, Arri, you've dealt with worse conditions before. Rennas, I mean, this is places you've dealt with extreme cold before, and your body has gotten accustomed to that a little bit, and this extreme shock to the other side, the intense heat. Bit of a scare, but you've dealt with extreme conditions before, and you can trudge on. Verity, you are not used to this heat at all, and in the half an hour that you guys walk, you take a point of exhaustion.
Verity's very much just on the broom, like.
Just bobbing up and down, little driplets of sweat dropping off of her body.
I love this
creating a
new
small
cape,
little-
guys, but it was not made for these conditions.
Don't you know Blizzard? Just cast Blizzard around you.
After about 30 minutes of travel, you get close to a large mountain, not a large mountain, but a large rocky hillside that you can see has carved buildings into it. Looks like it can go quite further back into an actual, like, much more wider rocky landscape itself. There's quite a little bit of activity around here. People moving around, patrols, lookouts, people just kind of talking, really. And this Dragonborn just says to you, "This is I want to say our HQ, but it's not permanent. It's just where we are for now."
Still looks impressive.
Keeps the heat out, keeps the sandstorms out, and more importantly, it's got an underground supply of water. So we're relatively self-sufficient here, so long as we hunt off the land.
Sounds very, very sensible. How long have you been here now?
About a year and a half. We came here literally just after we got kicked out of the capital.
I'd heard all the rumours of it happening, but I've been on the road a lot and not had much chance to check in with branches, so I was unfamiliar.
We lost big that day. We lost a lot of agents. Timothy, Mr. Tipper, he ain't been the same. But,
well,
whatever.
Hopefully there's a way to take some of it back.
One can hope. This way. And he begins walking towards an entrance into the structure itself. Arrabella, you innately notice some of the groups around you. They are keeping an eye on you. You know by this point that they just recognize you guys after what happened in Mel Tokyo. But there's one person who's staring a little bit more than the others. He seems familiar.
I was about to say, do I look at him and see his eyes?
Yeah.
But I forgot the name of. I kind of have like a small smile as I walk over to him. Be like, "Desert's aged you."
It's hot out here. It's your wrinkles unless you moisturize. So, you've become this big-time hero, haven't you?
Come on, you know me. How could I ever be a big-time hero?
I don't know. Beating the shit out of the Royal Arcanist and the Archfather. That's pretty big time.
Yeah, I'm still the little shit that you knew back in Oakenheath. I just do it on a bigger scale now.
I feel like you've... No offense, well, no pun intended, I feel like you kind of outgrown me a bit. I don't think you kind of need services anymore.
Well, I was just about to make a joke about Verity being the only one who's grown, but yeah.
I see you with your sister. When did you start hanging out with your sister again, or?
I always have.
Well, I know, but you said you always hang out with her in secret. I mean, you're traveling together now, so that's a thing.
Well, when your town burns down to the ground, you kind of keep your family around, don't you?
Yeah. Sorry to hear that. Some good people there. That mayor, right? He was alright.
Yeah. He's actually the one who kind of started us out on this thing, to be honest. Unintentionally or not. That's why you shouldn't leave notes in diaries. Kids can find it.
Well, gotta say, you've been the talk of this entire guild recently. Like, you and Silverman over there.
You know Rennas. Like, don't get me wrong, like, you were always in the shadows when he was around, but...
To be fair, I didn't think he'd live past the age of, well, now. So I never really bothered to remember his name.
To be fair, he kind of hasn't lived past now. He's died twice. He's not here, but we have a cleric as our family too. He's been extremely helpful, like a very handy person to meet on the road. We're travelling with, do you remember the Half-Orc City Guard, Otti?
Oh yeah,
traveling with her as well.
The one who tried to arrest me for smuggling and extortion.
Like
That sounds
they're
like
arrestable reasons. I'm glad she didn't manage to, but yeah, she's traveling with us.
Yeah, well, because you hid me in your house.
Yeah, I'm glad she didn't manage to. But if you ever see her, you won't tell her that.
Well, consider that blackmail material.
Oh, brilliant.
I'm just joking.
Um,
Out of character, Ellie is gasping loudly. She's not happy.
and yeah, we're traveling with another half elf as well. Like we seem to collect half elves at the moment. Like we got the original silver one, and then we pick up a crazy one. We've kind of left him places, and now we've got one. He seems kind of cool, but he's only been around for a little bit, so we'll see. I think you guys probably would have liked him, to be honest. I feel like he has the potential to be sneaky, you know?
Maybe. Nah. Not my area of expertise. I see you're an actual tipper now.
Yes, I've got my coin and everything. They still will not teach me thieves' camp, though. So, you know, one of those things. But at least you taught me to recognize it, so that's something.
I mean, if you had some time, I can teach you, but...
Maybe after we save the world?
That's a very big thing to say, so casually.
Well, it's either save the world or it's going to get overrun by demons, so...
That's an even bigger
Trying to
thing
be
to
optimistic!
say. You know what I do? I pickpocket people.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I get lost in the desert.
What are you guys out here for, anyway?
He lives in close. We're looking for something.
Any more details?
Can't speak here, not whilst there are ears. I'd say, speak to the boss about it if you really want to know, and if he tells you about it, then I'll be happy to tell you about it, but I got sent out here as a punishment for doing shit for you, and I don't want to get in trouble here, and I'd hate to see where they'd send me after. If this is the punishment, I hate to see what they punish people in the punishment with.
No, I get that. I am sorry for getting you sent out here. Like, you know how I am with pompous people who feel like they can boss me around.
Yeah.
I don't do very well. Talking of that
Right.
pompous prick, is he here? Or is he still in Brine?
What, after?
Blade.
Blade? Oh, yeah, no. Blade? No, he's still in Brine, as far as I know.
It's probably a good thing.
He's the leader of the group down there. Just like Denim is the leader of the frontier tippers up here. He's that dragonborn you're walking with.
Yeah.
Now,
He seems well equipped.
Well, obviously, you know, Denin and Blade, they only answer to Mr. Tipper. So, yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to meeting Mr. Tipper. Both myself and Rennas received a summons, a little while ago now, so I imagine he may be a bit upset with us taking so long.
I ain't never met Mr. Tipper, but I've heard stories. I heard he can see through lies, and I heard that he can make you believe anything he wants you to believe.
Fantastic.
I don't know. Maybe they're just, larger than life stories about the man, but I don't know. It's Denon who gives me orders, so.
Well, maybe he'll go easy on you because you introduced a celebrity to the tippers. And I say celebrity.
I mean, you weren't a celebrity at the time, you were just some hood rat, but...
I still am. I'm a hood rat that's been in everyone's heads, like you say, defeating the Archfather with my friends.
Yeah, you're a bit... Look, if there's anything I can ever help you out with, Arri, you just let me know, but there's fuck all I can do for you anymore. You're up. You and I, as far as I can tell, we're in different worlds now. You are up there. I'm just a guy. You're a
Halfling. I'm just a halfling.
Ah, you're a symbol. You're a symbol, Arri. If you don't want to be a symbol, then stop being a symbol. But every single time that you go out,
In my defense, I didn't ask to be projected into everybody's head.
But you made the most of the situation whilst you did.
I just defended myself and my friends and Mel Tokyo.
And you threatened the king with justice.
Shit! I did do that, didn't I?
Yeah.
I wrote. Oh shit! I did write the Archbot.
Yeah. See, you're talking about how humble you are without realizing just how great it makes you look.
Like, I would have made him look like an idiot at least, so that's fine. That's all I'm after.
Yeah, I know it was funny, but look, I ain't gonna keep you up any longer. I'll be around here if you need me, but looks like Denin's starting to click his nostrils, and that means he's getting impatient.
No, well, if I don't see you, Gerald, thank you. You may not think it, but it was nice to have a father figure when my father was in the drink. So, as much as you think I've outgrown you, I probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you.
I mean,
or at least not where I am today. That sounded a bit like I'd be dead, but I am not dead, and yeah.
Don't mention it.
Right.
I'm just happy to see you all grown up, I guess.
Shame I never got the 4-foot mark though, wouldn't I? Oh well.
No.
Well, the clicky nostril thing is creeping me out a bit, so if I can make him stop that.
Yeah.
I'd better go. It was really nice to see you, and see you around.
It was not awful to see you.
Not like the old days then. I need to definitely hype up my jackassness.
Well, see ya. And with that, you walk back over to the patiently waiting group, and Denin, he's clicking his nostrils. It's a weird sound.
Denim, take me to water.
I'm gonna get confused and just call him Denim, to be honest.
Denim. That's exactly my thought process when I made his name. What should I name him? Denim.
No, you should have called everyone else like do.
And then we all already gone baby shark.
That's do 1, do 2. Yeah. So, Denin leads you inside, down winding corridors lit with torchlight, till eventually it opens up into a much more spacious area. There are large cavern stalactites around that sporadically pierce into an underground body of water. The tippers here have constructed platforms amongst these stalactites, as well as on the cave sides, where there seems to be some commerce happening, resting, all manners. The people apparently they just live here. Denin basically explains to you that this place is, as far as the tippers are concerned, it's a hidden treasure trove of an oasis in the desert, but it's underground. So there's not really anybody who's going to disturb them, because as far as they can tell, nobody really knows of this place, which is more than okay for them, really. However, due to the harshness of the terrain, as well as some of the creatures around here are not particularly pleasant, they've not considered it a full-time headquarters for the entire Tipper organization. considering its remoteness as well, they want something that's a little bit more connected, a little bit more hospitable for them. It takes you about 10 minutes to walk throughout this cavern, really. It's actually relatively temperate in here. The torchlights reflect off of the water surface, creating a pretty sparkling look, really. And it would be dark inside of here, but there are gaps in the cave itself where streaks of sunlight can make their way inwards. And the illumination of the torches just provide a relatively dim light throughout the entire cavern. Then it eventually leads you up a spiral, I don't want to say stairwell, but a ramp that goes up the largest stalactites. Onwards and upwards it goes, to eventually reach almost the very top of the cavern. And here you can only be described as a penthouse exists. Probably the only structure in this entire place that's built with finality.
I look round in amazement.
You look out, Rennas.
I look round in amazement.
Oh yeah. Then he turns towards you all and he says, "Mr. Tipper is inside. Knock 3 times. Wait for him to tell you to enter, and then go in. Answer all his questions truthfully, and he'll happily answer all of your questions truthfully. You lie to him, and he'll lie to you. Quid pro quo is what he likes to say."
Seems most fair. Thank you very much for the advice.
Mr. Tipper is a man of equality. He will treat you exactly how you treat him. Always remember, he's one step ahead. Always.
And I will nod and then approach and knock 3 times on the door.
Well, he backs away and starts going back down the ramp. And as you knock on 3 times on the door, you wait. You wait and you wait and you wait. After about 3 minutes or so, you just hear this raspy, old, tired voice that just says, "Enter."
I open the door. I walk in and move to the side and let everyone else come in. And then stand kind of half at attention. I don't really do formality well, but I'm quite awestruck.
Walking inside, you find a very nice looking room. There is expensive looking furniture, candlelight, pots and plants, an extensive bookshelf, bit of a balcony that overlooks the entirety of the cavern itself. Anything you would expect this to belong to a man of nobility. Instead, you see a slender, tall human male. Massive beard, like, it's kind of hobo-y, but it is well kept. Like, it's a little dirty, but it's combed. His hair is long, greying and black, but it's combed backwards. He's got an eye patch over his right eye and a big scar over his left eye. You can see he is missing 2 fingers. This finger on his right hand and this finger on his left hand.
I walk in. I do like a half little bow and just say, "Mr. Tipper, sir, it's an honour to meet you."
Is it?
Well, I've heard your name for years. You know, without you, I don't even know where I'd be if you hadn't founded this.
Take a seat. I'll get started.
I sit down.
Your lady friends?
Tipper?
So this is Arri and Verity.
I know who they are.
Oh, of course you do. Sorry.
So you sit down on a three-person seater, a sofa, if it were, and he sits down in a singular armchair, facing all of you. So, Arrabella, Verity, Rennas. You first came on my radar several months ago, when your village was burned down by Edgar. He was chasing you all over the place, eventually leading you to the capital. When you got inside the capital, not but a month later, a massive riot, a revolution begins. You escape with nearly the entire population of the Half-Elves to an unknown place, where you stay hidden to this day, till now Tokyo declares it is going to go to war with the capital. And there you guys are, fighting two of their top agents in a public brawl broadcast across the entire world. What do you got to say for yourselves?
You are remarkably well informed, Mr. Tipper.
It's my job.
Understandable.
I mean, if you're checking in with his agents or like your colleagues all the time, I mean, chances are he's going to know where you are, Rennas. And as he said, we were broadcast pretty much to the whole world, where it's like, vive la resistance.
I mean, we never ever expected or asked for any of this to happen. We've just kind of found ourselves in the middle of this situation.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Looks at you, Verity. Thank you.
I've been waiting for it!
But Jack knows you've been waiting for it, so was that anything, or was that just Jack doing it just to annoy you? We'll never know. Yes, like, we did not seek out the situation. We found ourselves hunted by Edgar, and we've just done our best to survive. The best way to survive against someone with that power is to find allies. We found allies wherever we can.
Not to brag, but we're pretty popular.
Yeah, the hot potato at the moment.
Oh, it would have been so great if Verity was still bald at that point. Just like hot potato.
Carbs.
No. Two of you are members of my organization, one of you is not. Now, normally people would have to serve me for a great many years and advance a great deal in the ranks just to get a meeting with me.
Certainly never expected one in my lifetime.
People have died for the honor, which I thought was stupid because there's no honor to be had in meeting with me.
It's also hard to meet you after they've died.
Indeed. And if they were worth their salt, they wouldn't have died, would they?
Very true. And yet here I am, still standing, with two very good colleagues.
Indeed. So, the whole reason I have brought you here, Rennas and Arri, is I want to know what you're going to do if you beat the king.
Our goal is is a society where everyone is free.
That's a lofty ideal.
I mean, if you're going to shoot for the moon, you may as well follow it through.
I remember having that kind of optimism once. You know what happened? I got old.
Well, I'd better reach my goals before I get old then.
quippy.
If
I
I'm
mean-
being honest about my plans afterwards, I can honestly say I haven't really thought of them. I'm sure you can appreciate that what we're going for is huge. And
It is.
I currently struggle to see past it.
Maybe you should. If you mean to change the world, you have to consider all the aspects, the before, the now, and the after. You cannot just react.
Are you on about that? Are you referring to personal plans or something else? Because my
referring-
personal plans, I see nothing.
Then why bother? Why fight? If you've
For
got
everybody
nothing to
else.
If you have nothing to live for, then why do you even bother?
I have a lot to live for. I have a lot to fight for.
Then who are
But I'm
you
also willing
without
to
those people?
die to protect those.
If all of those people went away tomorrow, Arrabella, who would you be?
No one. Honestly.
I don't think that's quite true. We are definitely stronger together, but you are not
I'd-
nothing alone.
I'd be an almost 4-foot, ball of rage. I'd probably storm into the capital and die trying to kill everyone. You know how I feel about all of you. I may not say it often, but without you lot, this fight is nothing to me.
You've all kept me alive for a long time. Ish.
It's been hard. But we've managed.
I'm sorry, Mr. Tipper, can I ask you a question?
You just did.
Can I ask you another one after this one?
I guess.
Consider, if we weren't to consider any involvement of yours in this upcoming fight, and say we happen to win, what is your plan with the Tippers going forward? As you said, you're old. And this is a big organization.
It is. My plans currently consist of a continuation. We are currently trying to locate a new headquarters for ourselves to rebuild and restructure ourselves ready for the new world that is coming. That is the
Okay.
plan.
So when you've rebuilt and restructured and everything, what are you guys going to do then?
Right a few wrongs, work a few jobs, get paid, earn a living, earn my retirement. I want some place where I can grow my plants in peace.
Mhm. Okay. Sorry, I was just asking because, obviously traveling with your good employee Rennas here, I have one sort of perception of the Tippers myself. And I just wondered what the... Well, I just wondered what, the guy who created the establishment, what his overall goals were with it.
I didn't create it.
Oh.
I just renamed it. I think it's time for us to talk real for a second. Genlar and Deep Hollow. Two people I know have had those names before.
Yes, I believe you may have known my grandfather.
Yeah, So, here's the thing. Prior to a few weeks ago, had I had any inclination knowing that Loranda had any kind of children, I would have given the order for them to be led into an ambush to be assassinated. Your grandfather was a bad man, and he did this country a great, great evil by betraying us.
I don't believe you always felt that way, Mr. Tipper.
I was once his apprentice. No one felt the sting of his betrayal more than I did. It was his ideals that founded this organization. Ideals he spat on when he killed King Raziel. So I restructured us. I made us the Tippers. I did away with those stupid moral codes he had. We became assassins, we became thieves, we became extortionists. Things that he saw this group, he saw this organization primarily as a group of vigilantes. I've restructured it into one of the most economical businesses in this country.
That doesn't mean its original purpose can't still be served.
Its original purpose came from a man who thought it was okay to murder those he was sworn to protect. To betray those who looked up to him.
Mr. Tipper, I've spent most of my life trying to find out what happened on that night and why what happened did. I have failed. I know nothing. But I do know that the people around them that we still have found contact with, or we found journals written by them, believe them to be good people. I do not know what reason it was why they killed Raziel. If they even did kill Raziel, I know that is the story, but I don't trust anything that comes out of the capital, and to my knowledge there were no eyewitnesses there that saw it happen. But whatever happened on that night does not change who I am. If for some reason a man that I heard was well respected by many, many people turned crazy with his friends and murdered the king for no good reason, I don't believe that's what's happened, but even if it did, that does not affect me. I never even knew the man. I'm just trying to find out what happened to him.
I remember some years ago. Where to begin? Maybe in the middle, maybe at the end, maybe at the beginning. I guess it doesn't make a difference. I ordered Blade to keep an eye on you. Which is why Blade trained you in the ways he did. Blade sent me a report some time ago. He said that you had been driven out of your home village and the knights were chasing you. And he tried to find out why they were chasing you, and he was unsuccessful. And I can only tell you it was good that he was unsuccessful, because if he had found out who you were then, I would have given the order to kill you.
Seems fortune has favoured me again.
Indeed.
If it does help,
However,
where he has died like already.
after learning what I now know, I'm to adopt a much more indifference towards the spawn of Lorandia.
And what is it you now know? Or is it just that I'm the spawn of land?
I now know that the king is attempting to summon demons. He sighs himself Argoneth. Those who in the world who do not want to accept this truth are idiots. The evidence is there.
I agree.
I fought in the war. She served in Lorander's unit for a little bit. That's how I lost this eye. I was in the second siege of Vorid. Hezro came out of nowhere. And he took my hand off, got my eye instead. I returned to the capital, wounded as I was, to look after our group that we had built. I celebrated in the streets just like everyone else when I heard that Argonef was defeated. And not but a week later, the news broke that Lorander and your grandmother, Grace, and their friends, they came to the capital and they killed the king in the middle of the celebration feast. And then they killed nearly the entire royal guard. They killed 3 of the 4 remaining Oathsworn before getting caught. And they never said a word as to why they did this. They just accepted their fate and they hanged by the neck until dead. And I was in that crowd. I watched Lorander hang. It was that day that I decided that I was not going to emulate Lorander anymore. I was going to be my own man. But demons are demons.
And perhaps the demons were related to the events of that night many years ago as well. Again, we just don't know. I find it a rather large coincidence that the current king is involved in summoning demons. Argoneth was roaming the world and he was managed to be defeated and locked away, and suddenly a group that was responsible for helping to fight the demons killed the king. It's almost like there was a reason for it. I don't know what that reason is, but I believe it in my heart.
I just had a brain fart moment. Okay, so we know that the current king is trying to summon Argoneth, right? What if back in the day when our ancestors were trying to figure out who was originally trying to summon Argoneth, that the king now had framed his father, and that's why they killed him, but they didn't say anything because they knew that if word got out that the current king was like summoning demons, there would be absolute fucking chaos.
Why would the king summon demons to invade his own country?
No, I'm saying his son did, but he framed him. And so...
Raziel was heirless.
Huh?
Raziel did not have any children. It was his brother Dumar who became king after Raziel's death.
Well, then his nephew did it and framed the king, knowing that, you know, good people would take him down, hoping that it would incite riots that would cause enough chaos to bring Argoneth back.
His nephew, King Churiel, was the one who summoned the demons to kill King Raziel, is what you're saying.
Nephew of King Churiel, like the current king.
King Churiel.
Churiel. Back in day, was messing around.
He was born 5 years after Raziel's death. You know this, right?
No. I am not very well educated. Okay, so then maybe it was his father fucking around with it.
Maybe it was Dumar and he's passed on the family legacy. Again, Mr. Tipper, these are the thoughts we are having, and these are what we are trying to find evidence of.
It was like an in-between person.
Mr. Tipper.
Maybe it was fucking Edgar.
What do you know of Edgar Talion? We couldn't find his origins anywhere. We don't know what he was born from or where he was born or anything, and everything we tried to find, it came up blank.
How much is that information worth to you?
Like it would help us save the world.
I don't care about the world. I care about my organization's profits.
To be fair, without a world, you're not going to have an organization or profits.
What is it that the head of the Tippers could possibly want from us?
Now we come
They want a HQ, they said that.
We want our headquarters. I know exactly where it is. Well, let me rephrase that. I know exactly what I want it to be. Getting to it, finding it is the issue.
And where would you like it to be?
Somewhere out here, the frontier.
I thought the problem with the frontier is that it was too remote.
Not this place. This place has everything we need.
And what makes you think that we would have any idea about the frontier? We're kids from
Because
Open
you're
Heath.
seeking allies. You're seeking allies, are you not? Eventually, you're going to have to speak to the Frontier Collective. My goals, and what you'll find, and the goals of the Frontier Collective are very similar. They're going to want... They don't know you guys. They do know the horrors of demons. Did you know that the frontier fell in the war? It was under the command of the demon lord Arganeth and his general Listitri several years. And in that time, many people were butchered and fed to these demons.
I vaguely remember Otti giving us a lesson in this.
In the war, Arganeth had two methods to create and control demons. The first one was the summoning circles. That pulled demons from the abyss as ready and active soldiers. The summoning... I apologise, as a DM, I believe I've just mixed those names up. Spawning pits. No, sorry, no, I was right. Summoning circles. The spawning pits was where new demons were created by repurposing old souls.
We believe he is currently doing the same again.
I want you to understand, or I want to know you understand, what spawning pit does. Do you think you know?
We are not sure of any details. We are aware that he is taking prisoners, hostages, civilians, and turning them into demons. We do not know how.
You chuck in a civilian, that spawning pit will tear them apart. Keep the bits that it wants. For every 2 or 3 people you chuck in, you get a demon out. Spawning pits were prime targets for our side in the war. Purely because the quicker you could destroy a spawning pit, the quicker you could save lives.
Tactical and moral reasons.
All the spawning pits in the war were destroyed, except one.
Varrod, by any chance?
No, there's one in the frontier somewhere. If you want the Frontier Collective to join you, I have it on good authority. They're going to want this spawning pit found and destroyed to ensure that they can't be attacked from behind if they're going to be dealing with demons.
A fair reason. Do you have any knowledge on its whereabouts?
I have a rough idea of where to look. I've not been able to find it, and we've been looking for a few months.
You're not looking for the spawning pit in any relation to your headquarters, are you?
Yes, yeah.
But you also want to destroy it, right?
Yes, of course. There is a treasure there. Treasure highly sought after by both sides. Go right ahead.
I'm gonna.
He's my boss, I blindly believe him.
Okay.
I
I have to roll at disadvantage, right? Because.
Can I insight? Because it sounded a bit dodgy to me as well.
Well, the Denim guy
well.
said to us when we came in that if we tell the truth to him, he'll tell the truth to us. I'm taking him at his word because I take professional criminals at their word, because why wouldn't you?
Not sure if you were meant to show us that you rolled a deception.
Yeah, I was supposed to hide that, but...
Yeah.
But he
Remarkably
does have
good
adva-
deception too.
He does have advantage on that stuff. So
Yeah, like with a plus 16 as well.
Slightly better than me.
So you guys don't detect any falseness from him. He is a very reserved individual, a very silver tongue. You get the feeling even if he lied, there'll be no tellings on it.
Do you know how to destroy it?
Yeah, blow it up. Send a paladin or a cleric in there, get them to do some holy stuff. It'll fall apart very quickly.
Okay, well,
My
we'll look.
interest in it is that there is a treasure in there that is sought after by both sides. Your side is going to want it, and the demon side is going to want it. I want it.
And which side are you on?
The side who gets it for me.
What is the treasure that's in there?
Something that will help me rebuild the Tippers into a sustainable thing long after I die. Something that will put us on a global scale and not just limited to the confines of the borders of Windward. Something that will help ensure that I can take people like Rennas off the street and give them a good life with minimal risk. Something that will help me eliminate poverty. Something that will do away with war orphans and inequality.
Does this fantastical thing have a name?
A luckstone.
I mean, we found a luckstone on our travels. They're not that rare.
Oh, no, you probably found yourself something that belongs to the goddess Ayun. This is something else. This is something that was forged by Gond, god of craft. It's the reason why this spawning pit was never found. Because no one's been lucky enough to find it. No one can outluck the luckstone.
Sounds very powerful.
Indeed.
However, we've been
Well,
relatively lucky on our travels so far.
that was my thinking exactly. I thought if there's anybody in the world who could rival the luck of a god, it'll be you guys.
And what of the Tippers when they hold this fantastical treasure? Will you join us and try and defend this world?
I'll order every single branch in all of the territories to immediately turn over all of their resources and their agents to you. All of my footmen, all 4,000 of them, will fight for you. All of my assassins, all 400 of them, will be yours. All of my mages, all 30 of them, will be yours. And I will fight for you. And I may be getting on in years, but I'm fairly certain none of you could take me.
I have no doubt of that.
And what information on Talion?
I can present to you two options. You find this spawning pit for me. I will tell you everything you want to know about anything. If you want to know the information right now, gold is always a good incentive. Information isn't cheap after all. You want to know about Edgar Talion? I'll tell you everything you need to know about it for 300 gold.
How do I know that you know anything about him, though?
It's my job to know things.
Do we need to know anything right now, or is this something we can ask after we get the luck stone?
You can ask it after the Luckstone. If you get it, I'll tell it for you for free.
How about if we give you 300 gold, you give us the information, we give you the luck stone, you give us a 300 gold back?
No.
Well, that was a short negotiation. I tried. I'll hand over 300 gold. I think 300 gold is a non-serious amount of money at this point. And who knows, it might be useful. So yeah, here you go.
Do you actually give him the money?
I do. I pass over 300 gold.
Pass it towards him. Yeah, feels about right. Alright.
I would be very foolish to try and cheat you, Mr. Tipper.
Indeed. Is there anything specific you want to know?
Just anything you know about him. Help us try and stay ahead of him. Help us one day hopefully defeat him.
I'm particularly interested in his bloodline.
Edgar Talion was born to the royal guards Felix and Harriet Talion. As far as I know, they were good people. They were good royal guards. Taught him the sword and horseback at a young age. As far as I know, Edgar lived in luxury. He was safe during the war with Argoneth within the walls of Jaros Jukai. As far as I know, he was quite a oddity of a noble who was always willing to help those less privileged than him. His parents, they encouraged that. And when Argoneth was defeated, he celebrated like everyone else. And then King Razia was killed. The royal guard was killed. His parents were killed. I don't really know much what happened to him after that. I know he got very, very, very upset when he found out that the descendants, the children of those knights, were exiled instead of executed. He got so upset about it that he attempted a minor rebellion against King Dumar out of spite and hate. I believe that your parents, you, needed to die for the crimes your grandparents committed. They failed and Edgar was exiled, and the noble house of Talion ended and was archived away in the royal blood vault. He disappeared for a few years, until one day, in Jaros Jukai, I meet him with a group of individuals. Your father, Rennas. I didn't know it was him at the time, I only figured this out later. But he was a shifty asshole. Kept his face hidden the entire time, never knew what he looked like. Called himself Talion.
Yes.
Well, as far as I could tell, that group was trying to... they were trying to clear the names of your grandparents. Clearly that didn't work.
No. They were betrayed by our good friend, Edgar Talion.
Yeah. Well, the next thing I know, Mr. Talion is being sworn in as the head of the Order of Knights. He immediately cuts down and kills anybody who stands against him and takes full control. does away with the name Talion completely, and is just only known as Edgar, head of the Order of Knights, and in select circles, the Truth Sayer. A name
Yes, we've heard that ironic name.
Yes, that name was given to him by King Turiel for telling the truth about traitors that he delivered.
But you and I both know the truth is a malleable source.
Indeed. Well, I mean, I didn't think much of it at the time, because he brought in some very good work for the tippers. He paid me to keep the scent low. He paid the tippers to root out anybody who wasn't on the side of the king, shall we say.
And he decided he had enough of you guys and had you driven out of Jerusalem.
Microphone.
Meh.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'll repeat that. Until he decided he had enough of you guys and drove you out of Juristrakai.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
He likes to
After
use
he felt
people.
like he got everything he needed out of us, he sent his lapdog, Garrick de Blanc, committed the Night of Long Knives against us. Killed a lot of half-elves that night, just to get to us, the tippers. But we were kicked out. 9 in 10 agents were killed that night. He knew exactly where our hideouts were. He knew exactly where our secret entrances were. He knew everything about us, because we'd been dealing with him for years. We thought it was a mutual beneficial relationship.
I'm not sure that guy knows what mutually beneficial means. He is only after himself. Even now, serving the king, he's still really serving himself. Or Argoneth.
I think Edgar Talion is a man who will serve himself first and foremost.
I believe so.
After your story, I do not understand why you are requesting us do something to aid us in the fight against him. He literally sold you out, and 90% of your organization was killed because of him.
Yep.
And yet you're not willing to destroy him with us.
Nope.
Hmm.
How would it benefit me?
With him out the
You've-
picture, the tippers could grow once
Yeah.
more.
Revenge is a childish concept. I have no need for revenge. I have a need for profit. I have a need for sustainability. If you cannot get beyond the concept of he did wrong to me, I want to kill him, then you're little more than a child processing bad feelings. It's pretty much what he is. If he can't get over the fact that his parents were killed.
I was gonna say, if this is
Makes
all
him a
just to kill
child.
us because his parents died, because of something our grandparents did under circumstances nobody seems to be sure about, little sus if you ask me, then yes.
As far as that makes him a child, as far as I'm concerned, the emotional range of a teaspoon.
That sounds
I don't
about
care
right.
that stuff.
A
I do not care about it
halfling
at all.
teaspoon, so it's even smaller.
Indeed.
Do I know what's really bad out of character?
What?
Very, very almost went in to defend him then, which is bad.
He really did a number on you, Arri.
Oh, he did. He did. Like, getting into Arri's head, and it's just like, Arri almost came out with, when someone suffers a trauma at such a young age, it's understandable that they kind of stint. But then kind of double-checked herself and was like, no, he's a fucker. He fucked us over.
I mean,
But you know, bitch
people
deserves
are
to die.
allowed to experience trauma and get help for it, but I'm pretty sure if your expression of going through trauma is to end the world with demons, you
Yeah,
deserve to be
like I
checked a
said,
little bit.
yeah, Arri didn't actually say any of that. But I just felt like it would be funny if I let you guys know that I very, very almost did.
Well, I'm glad that.
And it gives Jack something for ammunition later on. Because, yeah,
Thanks for that. Thanks for that.
it's not a problem. I'm happy to give it to you whenever you need it.
I just
Bow,
want to
chicka,
know
bow,
if my
wow.
bless you has helped anyone yet.
We'll see.
Maybe it's what we
Anyways.
needed to find the thing about you. Okay.
Timothy Tipper goes on to say, I have no need for revenge. I want what I want. If you are concerned with revenge, that's your prerogative. I'm too old for that shit.
1 part revenge, 2 parts, stopping him summoning demons and
I was
destroying the
just gonna
world.
say, I am still young. I have all the room for revenge and room to grow.
Indeed. But that is my stand in all of this. I don't like him. But if he comes to me with a solid deal, maybe I'll work for him again. Who knows?
Pretty sure he'd just betray you again.
Most probably, but this time I'll be on guard. You guys, maybe you won't betray me. Maybe you will. How this works is that you have something I want, and I have something you really, really want. So you do something for me, and I'll do something real big for you.
Fair exchanges, no robbery and all that.
But those are my terms. And
Do you
I will
have a
always
map?
give you that. Yeah.
Well, if you want us to try and find it, I'm not going to promise that we will. I'm not going to promise that we can. But if you've got a map and a general idea of where you think this is.
Well, right now we're here. As far as I can tell, the spawning pit is either out there, or out there.
We have a lot of ground to cover.
That's about 100 square miles. Like I said, I've been sending men out for months. We haven't found anything yet. But I know it's out there somewhere. It's where the demons originated from. You have to look at the old tactics of what they did. You have to look at the old battles. It's where the demons would come from somewhere. That if you nail down where they came from in specific times, you can originate a pattern, originate an origin from them. And I think it's around there. But I'd say if you're going to be looking for that spawning pit, go speak to the Frontier Collective first. That'll be a good way for you to get them on side. And that is a tip for you.
We thank you very much for the tip, Mr. Tipper.
Ha, I get it.
I have more tips for you, but they'll cost you.
Is this why you called us here then? To send
Well,
us out to find your stone?
Yeah. And also to get the measure of you.
Well, I'm 3'11", if that helps.
I'd say you're you're about 4 foot. I'd say you've grown an inch.
Probably all the sand caked in my shoes.
Probably. But trust me when I say, I remember everything about the people I pay attention to. Every single detail.
Well, I was literally going to end it, so...
I was going to say, have you heard of a smaller group called the Frontier Rangers that operate around here?
Yeah. You'll find them out in the Farlands near Stonekirk.
Thank you very much.
They're about a week or so on foot. So I'd say if you're going to go out to them, make sure you're well supplied.
Don't suppose you've got any teleportation circles that you know were there?
maybe.
Like, if it's a yes, I'm willing to pay you for it.
I don't have a teleportation circle for Stonekirk, but I've got one out in the Farlands. It was used back in the war, used by the Rangers.
That would certainly
How
knock some
close will
time
that
off our
get
journey.
us?
Let's call that one 600 gold pieces, shall we?
How close will it get us?
Probably about a day away.
Okay.
Give or take.
I'll give him
The
600 gold.
The Rangers tend to move around.
I mean, considering that this circle's going to help us get our job done quicker, I think you could knock it down a bit.
Make a persuasion roll.
I'm going to burn my list of fate so I can do it just a normal roll instead of at a disadvantage.
Alright.
Please don't blow up.
Please do
Oh.
not summon a Garistro in here.
Kiki. Oh wait, I think I still have it on disadvantage. Normal. Persuasion. I am so persuasive. Kind
I
of.
rolled a 25 on my insight.
Well, I mean, I'm not being like deceptive or anything. We are trying to get his job done, but we just have a lot to do.
I know, but he is looking through you, looking past that, and it's like, on this occasion, I'm just going to say that
Money
your
talks.
persuasive personality is not enough to overcome his want of money.
I've deducted 600 gold from my character sheet.
I would like to remind Arri, because I have reminded these two and they haven't said anything, that I did give you 5,000 gold. I don't know who made a note of it.
I did not.
I mean, nor did I, but like,
didn't either.
okay, I made a note of it, and then I forgot to tell you two, which is why I don't know anything about it. I've just got $5,000 in my pocket.
Handed
Right.
out.
I mean, it sounds
But yeah,
beautiful.
like, I'm happy to just give it out of my pocket for now anyway. I assume it's
so
a
you-
drawing of the circle.
Yeah, he will actually reach inside his pocket and pull out a small ledger, just flick through it a little bit, snap out a bit of paper, and hand it over to Verity and say, "You're the magic one, aren't you?"
How very observant of you.
I mean,
And you couldn't
turned
observe
into-
my asking for the deal!
You turned into a T-Rex, so not that observant.
And I've turned into a T-Rex too. But technically, she did that too.
I can make anyone a T-Rex if they want it.
I've just been turned into a sparrow.
Yeah.
Oh well, I suppose that's a conversation you should have with your sister. Who do you want? What do you get turned into?
To be fair, sparrow's small and fast. Makes sense.
Easily killable as well.
Yeah.
For the twist of fate, I don't have to until Jack says.
Yeah. So, haha. I have that control now. I have the power.
Oh, no.
Timothy Tipper will wrap up the meeting and he'll say, "Just in case you are curious, I am aware of other factions that your enemy is not aware of. They might be able to join you. Give or
What
take,
would that information cost us, I ask?
Oh, seeing as how you really, really, really need allies, it won't be cheap. I mean, just
Cost
from
of a
the
luckstone?
Nah, this is going to be a separate deal for us.
I feel like if we kept the Luckstone, we'd probably get a lot of allies, to be honest. It being a Luckstone and all.
Maybe, but you're getting it for me, remember?
Yeah, if you get us allies.
Well,
Which is the more valuable to us, really?
I can tell you where to find a scale regiment. Or the scale remnant nowadays.
Doesn't sound
What
like a
about
very
them?
imposing force.
They're the collective forces of the Draconic Craglands. They fought in the war previously. They've died. A lot of them died. So there ain't much of a military left, but what there is left, it's a force in and of itself. I can tell you where to find the Yeti tribes, if you want to have them on board. I'll also tell you where to find the Duragar. I believe there's another clan of Drow that you might be able to get involved with.
I desperately want the Durocar to join us.
I think Jurgar and Drow were a bit.
We know where the other drow are. Duragar, I feel like we shouldn't go near.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Myconins?
I can't say I have.
They are a plant-based life.
Sounds like moss. Micah.
They're psychic-based. They have a communal aspect about them.
Mushroom
And they're,
people?
Yeah, they're quite powerful as well. I can tell you where to find them. They'd be very, very upset if demons started walking around again.
Would they be
Oh.
upset that I have mushrooms in my thing?
I am really worried that I'm about to metagame, and I think I am about to metagame. But aren't the mushroom people in the drow in the city just the path we didn't go down, which is why I think I'm metagaming? I just can't remember.
Yes, no, you can remember because the stone giant told you a path that you went down. If you went down that path, would eventually bring you to a Myconid colony.
Yeah. Cool.
So
I'll just kind of turn and be like, I don't
So
think
we know
you're...
where it is, but it's under the capital.
in terms of allies, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sending you guys a list of people that of factions that Timothy Tipper is aware of. If you would like to know where any of them are, each bit of information will cost you 2,000 gold.
Very steep, Mr. Stipper. Very steep.
Very profitable wars. Did you know that?
But remember, if we find you the Luckstone, you're fighting on our side, so the more allies we've got, the better your chances of survival. Just throwing it out there.
Alternatively, I can honour a deal and get paid more.
Anyway,
Can't
I feel
really
like...
argue with that lot.
Do you have anything to eat here that isn't going to burn my face off?
I'll have some oxen cut for you.
Yeah, because you've given us a lot to think about, and
Well,
we have a lot to do.
it was a pleasure meeting you.
Mr. Tipper?
Usually it's a pleasure meeting me. You're welcome.
Miss Deephollow, Madam Deephollow, Mr. Genlar.
Thank you, Mrs. Tipper. And I guess
Mrs. Tipper.
I said Mr. Tipper.
Okay, I thought you said Mrs. Tipper.
I definitely said Mr. Tipper. And I guess we start moving out the door, leaving.
Okay. All right. So, your meeting with Timothy Tipper was eventful, eye-opening, and he's given you his... What's the word I'm looking for? It's gone completely from my head. He's given you not his capabilities, not his culpabilities, not his reasonings. For fuck's sake, I'm having a brain meltdown at the moment. He's given you the list of things that he needs for you to join him.
It's conditions?
Yeah, conditions, that's the one! Fucking hell.
Yay!
I couldn't remember that. Yeah, he has given you his conditions to have the Tippers join you in full force. Now,
Definitely sounds like this. Yes. Yeah, it definitely sounds like this Luckstone is very powerful.
Yeah. George is going to draw a Verity like a chicken now, isn't she?
Probably.
Aren't they?
I'm waiting for the pictures of everyone with their mouths on fire.
I forgot my notebook at home.
Aww. I'm sure she'll remember some later. Anyways, this group walks out knowing what they need to do to get the tippers on side and deciding what they want to do next as their adventure continues. Meanwhile, on the other side of the frontier, underground, with the stale air, the echoey sensation, and the almost a sense of claustrophobia for Russ and Otti, but the sense of freedom and security. Korgrin, you guys find yourself standing Filiderzan. Korgrin will point out that the Vizier can be found and reached in the Vizier's prime reach, which is his palace. The Stone Hall is where the military trains and is armed and equipped. The Platinum Forges is where the finest Dwarven-made equipment is made. The Height of the All-Father is the biggest temple to Moradin in the world. That's where Korgrin spent most of his time after he left the military. The Leaky Boulette is a tavern / inn if you guys would wish to rest. Erzon's Excursions is a shop of reputable source. And then further left and right, you have the Underdark Trade Quarter and the Surface Trade Quarter. So if you wish to return to the surface, go that way. If you wish to go into the Underdark, go that way. So, Russ, Otti,
Oh god.
what would you like to do?
First question is really how much has been destroyed?
So, looking from where you are at the moment, it looks like the vast majority of the South Quarter has been heavily damaged, but there is currently some reconstruction work going on. So I'd say if I had to draw an area, everything beyond that red line is currently in a state of ruin / reconstruction. This area here has seen some light damage. Looks like the royal forces did not get any further than there, judging from the overview that you have of just looking down into the city.
Is this teleportation circle just like in the middle of nothing, or is it actually in someone's living room or something?
No, it's right next to a very, very old statue that Korgrin can identify as one of the prior viziers of Filiderzan. He didn't know that there was a teleportation circle around here. By the looks of it, nobody knew there was a teleportation circle around here except maybe a few select priests or maybe royalty. It looks like this is a hidden one, but in a place of cultural significance.
Makes sense.
I was wondering how we're going to deal with Zach not being here, because I don't know if, like, for instance, like Korgrin would want to see his family or something.
Well, Korgrin is going to say to you both that Well, I believe we're famous enough now that you could literally just walk down the street and anybody would be able to recognize you. The fact that we have an army at our back means that we have some weight in our words. I'm sure if you go to try and speak with the Vizier, he'll grant you an audience. I've already since sending to London to let him know that we're on the way. But if you don't mind, Otti and Russ, I'd like to go to me home by myself if possible. I just want to see what's left. I want to see if there was anything left for me. The village Erzan is a very, very safe place, so you two will be absolutely fine walking around by yourself. But it's been several years since I've been home. I just want to do this on my own, if that's okay.
That's completely understandable. We'll miss you, but
when you
sure
go,
okay.
Just keep me. I'll send you some sendings occasionally throughout the day. When you go see the Vizier, I'll come to you as well. But I'll leave it in your two very capable hands. You're a lot more, especially you, Ross. You're a lot more charismatic than I am.
Agreed.
Agreed.
You're the face.
Well, I'll let you get on with it, and don't worry, dwarves don't bite. We headbutt.
All right.
With that, Korgrin is going to set off down the road, making his way to his house. You two set off down the road yourself, walking down a heavy street. A heavy in the sense that the air is heavy, and the people are heavy as well. Like, even the children, they are wearing like heavy sets of shoulder plates, like hammers. Even the toy hammers, they look heavy. And there's a lot of strength, a lot of stockiness, a lot of pride in these streets. You also come across some creatures you've never seen before. You almost assume that they were boulders, as when they were sitting down curled up. But they are long, large creatures with 4 legs and a long tail, and jaws, honestly, the size of your entire torso. They look like they could crush a person just by biting down on someone. You'd be able to identify these as bullets. And there are...
at the very beginning.
I don't think you... No, you fought an Umberhog at the beginning. You've never fought a bullet.
I take it back.
And judging by, sheer size of these creatures and what they can eat or crush with their mouth, you're very thankful to have not fought one. But it looks like Fili Durzan has domesticated a vast population of bullets. You see several dozen just by walking down the streets in the space of about 30 minutes. You also garner a lot of attention. People look at you, they whisper, they point, they stare. They know who you are.
Is it like a positive, or is it a negative?
It's a neutral.
It's a neutral. Well, they're not trying to kill us, so that's positive.
No, they're not trying to kill you. But they probably know why you're here. And if they don't know why you're here, they know what you represent.
But they know Korgrin at the very least, and they know he's associated with us.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe that's why it's neutral and not negative.
Yeah. There is a large guard presence in the streets. Dwarves in heavily plated blackish brown armor with long spears and pikes, like fully clad. Like, these guys are stocky and built as fuck. And you see dozens and dozens of them on every time you turn the street, you see at least 5 of them, like on a corner, just keeping an eye on something, patrolling. There is either a show of force, a show of reassurance, just to keep the people who were attacked recently calm. Or maybe the dwarves just like showing off. So, Russ, Otti, what would you guys like to do if Philly does that?
I don't really know what to do because we need Korgrin here, really. The one thing that I thought we could possibly do was try and find out what happened with the last round of attacks. Maybe try and find like the guard station or somewhere guard base to try and get some information about who attacked, what the numbers were, were they managed to be fought off, things like that. That's what I would be tempted to do without Korgrin here.
Okay. So yeah, that's pretty easily doable. You find yourself at a guard station, just walking through the streets, just getting to experience the wonders and the pride of Philidazan. There's a small guard outpost, and it's an open area, kind of like an open shop that you walk in, but there's like a few desks, a few jails and stuff like that. You can see there are 3 jails, one of them's occupied. Person inside doesn't have many clothes on. Maybe he just drunk too much the night before, and he's just calling off in there. The guards themselves, they are outfitted out with proper equipment. They're not like the brine guards. They took their job relatively seriously, but they just didn't have the equipment to back themselves up. In many ways, they're similar to the Jakaya Knights, but you don't think they have the same attitude as they did. As you walk in, you can see one captain, as it were. He's got a large braided red beard, several places. He's got a couple of scars over his forehead. A big blistered lip as well, and he just goes, "Oh, aye, welcome, strangers from outside of Surface Land. You got any troubles to be reporting? What can I do for you?"
Hi, my name is Otti, and this is Russ, and we are.
Oh, wait. Philly. And them. Oh, it's them. Oh, you're a couple of celebrities coming into my little guard station. You're the Laragon of Justice and the bung and the board, right?
Something like that.
Wow. Well, I apologise for interrupting, but we don't really get that many surface celebrities in my neck of the woods. Please, continue. How can I help?
We've come to try and understand what has happened recently with these attacks you've had from the Royal Guard. We can see that there's some damage over in that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That attack. It was only the one attack, Melas. It happened just nice short 2 months ago. They came in, they torched many buildings, burned them down, tore them apart. They came in with cavalry and siege weapons. It was a human army. They bore the banners of your people. Well, the surface people said that they were fighting for what's his name? The Truth Sayer is what they said. They were led by a big hulking man with black hair. I remember the sight rather well, actually. I saw it on the outskirts of the battle. Yeah. Don't know what his name was. But yeah, they came in, they did some damage, they took some hostages, and they left.
Hostages?
Aye, they stole probably about 100, maybe 200 people. I believe our Vizier is trying to negotiate with the Surface King to make sure we get those people back. But there's a reason why there's a heavy military presence in town, because it certainly looks like we're going to war. And If you don't mind me saying, I get the suspicious feeling that's exactly what you two are doing as well.
Yes. I'm afraid it's all a little bit of a scramble since war was declared, and we're trying to make sure that no one gets into the wrong hands.
Aye. Well, I can't even begin to imagine what kind of pressure and logistics that sort of thing could go through. I'm just a guard. I grab my spear and I grab my shield and I protect some streets, and occasionally I shove somebody in the jail. That's all I ever got to do. But I'm prepared to walk out onto the battlefield to fight for what's right and what's true, just like any other dwarf that self-respects himself. But other than that, we don't really have much dealings with top folk like yourself.
Dwarves are so much better people than the Tippers. Do not tell Korgrin I said that.
I've got to say, all of the people up on the surface are not that bad.
Not that bad, you say? Well, you'll be hard-pressed to find people around here that could say nice things about the surfaces, especially after what happened.
Just out of curiosity, where did they come through the trade quarter?
Oh, they attacked through the surface trade quarter. Not to worry, though, that's not going to happen again. Our commander, Molten Durlabane, he's built up some very good fortifications in that area, preventing them from coming in again.
Out of character,
Yeah?
I'm sure that Loic said that there was potentially another one incoming. They look like
Another
attack.
The Second Royal Army is currently camped outside the entrance to Fididazem.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Back in character. Oh, I can only, and I'll just sit down and be like, being a guard, I was a guard, and it's a noble profession, and being able to defend.
Is it as boring surface side as it is down here?
Some people make your life worth it. There was one guy in town who I can't remember how many times he got arrested. It must have been about 6 times.
A lot less times I did something wrong.
Sometimes, there's just the folk that just make it.
Well, at least they justify your paycheck then, don't they?
You get paid?
Oh, aye, we get paid about 50 gold a month.
Bastards! Oh, could he ripped me the fuck off?
Well, if you ever feel like having a career change, we're always looking for capable warriors in our guard, but I suspect somebody like you be going straight to the prime reach to serve as the Vizier's personal bodyguard.
I quite like the idea of being a guard, to be fair.
Well, if you have some time, I'd love to share a drink with you and place. Have you ever played 10 Dwarves Down?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it's a fantastic little card game. You have these little chips. I'll teach you all about it if you have some time.
I look over at Russ.
Yeah, I have the feeling that we'd just be kind of waiting for Korgrin before actually negotiating with the Vizier. So maybe it makes sense to, sort of learn more about what's going on, and yeah, why not?
Is drinking involved?
Oh, aye. Drinking's involved in everything down here.
Maybe we shouldn't be drinking.
Not immediately before meeting with the Vizier, no.
No.
Honestly, I think the Vizier would be more offended if you didn't drink. Here, have a cup of water. Now, would you like some ale with that water? That's a common saying down here.
I think I've still got some whiskey in my bag.
Oh, aye, she's a cheeky one, that one.
I'll take some ale.
Ah, very good, very good. Now, remember, this isn't that swill that serve you up the top side. This is true dwarvish ale. They pass out some mugs to you, and you find a fine brownish froth-like drink before your lips.
I'll take a sip.
Take a sip. It kicks like a jackhammer. Boom! Tastes alright though.
I'll take another sip then.
Alright. So you continue to drink. And the guard captain and his guards they're like, well. We have a woman with a fine palatable stomach. I enjoy that very much. Right. Let's go get the cards. Let's play us some 10 Dwarves down. And you guys spend the next couple of hours playing cards, getting drunk, drinking, with some on-duty guards, until you have finally mastered the game 10 Dwarves down. Both of you, just go ahead and make luck rolls for me, please.
Oh, what's that?
So it's a D20 for me, please.
Oh. Oops.
Okay, so
Russ, you lose 14 gold.
I have no gold. Oh, unless Otti gave me some gold.
I would,
Right.
I would, if Russ needed money, I would take it out of my own pockets. Technically, I would lose 14 gold.
Okay,
Russ definitely needs a chunk of gold from the party fund, just so that Russ has actually got gold. Everyone else has got gold.
Yeah. Well, Otti, you do that, but Otti, you also win 25 gold pieces during 10 Dwarves down.
Oh, sweet. I'm not going up.
Yeah.
So, is there any more information you would like to get from these guards at all?
Yeah, I'd probably. Yeah, so I'd say to them, can I ask, what's the kind of overall feeling of the kind of atmosphere down here with the current climate?
Well, it's certainly tense. You got everything that's going upside. I mean, you got the King's men on that side. You got the Jordagar at the gates on the other side. And then, honestly, that's enough to drive a person to drink.
Are you not concerned with having to participate in the war?
Well, as far as I know, we're not participating. We're staying right where we are. Like I said, if I'm ordered to go topside and fight, I'll fight. If I'm ordered to go below, I'll fight. But, as far as I know, we're staying here to protect our own.
That's fair, but I work with the King's determination to get forces on his side.
Well, if the king of your surface country comes down here, well, I can guarantee you he won't be coming out again, not after what he's done. There ain't no single dwarf in Phillydurzan that'd be willing to be sided with your topside king after the damage he did to our homes.
That's good to hear. We feel similarly.
We have a phrase in up top, which is fuck that bastard.
Oh, that's a phrase I could get behind. Fuck that bastard. Yeah, fuck that bastard. We should put
Started
that into our banner, put it on our
chants and
backs.
stuff now, aren't we?
Fuck that bastard. Fuck that bastard. Shit.
And I'd probably ask them, just out of interest, I'm sure Korgrin has mentioned it before, about who is it, the Underdark, who lives down there underneath Phillydurzan.
We were a little bit concerned that the underground Phillydurzan is not really aware of the shit going up above and that they may be at risk. and that we thought this was maybe quite an urgent matter, and they don't seem to have that impression, and we don't know if it's us who are wrong or if they're just unaware of what's coming. So we don't know who to discuss that with.
Well, what do you mean the underground Philiders?
Oh, I just mean like actual Philiders is maybe not aware of the people kind of camping outside, and maybe with like impending invasion.
They are very much aware of that. However, Philiders is always under the threat of impending invasion because they're currently at war with the Duergar. And the Duergar they've always been at war with the Duergar, and the Duergar always fight with Philiders. So,
yeah.
I mean, Otti, you're a smart individual. From a military standpoint, Philiders is currently surrounded. The Royal Army from the surface and the Duergar from the Underdark. That's really the only ways out from Philiders. And so, instead of trying to skirt out and leaving one of their backside exposed to one of their enemies, they've parked their keisters right here and they fortified the city.
Not necessarily a bad thing to do. Okay.
As it stands right now, they're stuck.
Yeah.
From a military standpoint.
Okay.
But, in any case, after your couple of hours of drinking and playing games with these guards, you get a message from Korgrin. He says, "Well, turns out I'm very well known around these parts. They've taken me to the Vizier's Prime Reach, and the Vizier himself wanted to meet me, and he's waiting for you. Can you come?"
Yes. We'll finish up and come straight away.
Okay.
And just go, Russ, put your drink down.
All right.
He apparently
I'll try him.
Yeah, he's squatted behind us.
Yeah.
He's gone to the Prime Reach.
Yeah, I can't say Korgrin's timing's always the best, but let's go.
I will settle Russ's debt.
Oh.
Okay. So, how I want to do this is, of course, this is going to be a very important thing for Korgrin to be a part of. So, I'd like to skip ahead to what was going to come after this, and then come back to it after Christmas, so we can do it properly.
Okay.
I have no issue with just, if you wanted to, just stopping here completely and carrying on with it in sequence if you wanted to do it that way. It's, I don't want Zach to miss this.
Well, this particular bit here, that was coming after, it's quite literally a case of Korgrin will be contacted by Princess Ariel, and she will require him to scry on her pretty much immediately. I assume Korgrin would have absolutely no recourse with that.
Yeah.
So is this just going to be like another cutscene type of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In which case, I'll make sure I get the timestamps when I upload it and just send it straight to him, so we can definitely catch up with that bit if he doesn't have time to watch everything. That's fair.
Okay.
Coolios.
Makes sense.
So I'm just getting up my bits, skipping ahead. So, Korgrin will cast Scry. Once again, his vision is taken across a great deal of distance, across the mountains, across the Arctic tundras of the frozen prime lands, towards the city of Jarashukai, into the Tower of Heaven. He can see the princess hurrying along a corridor. She looks pale, worried. The corridor is a finely detailed marble runway. Suits of armor adorn the walls, and the paned windows covered in a gentle snow outside. After a minute, she reaches a reinforced door and gently knocks. She bites her finger and takes a deep breath. Soon enough, she hears a voice say, "Enter." She opens the door and walks in, closing it behind her. The room is large, maybe a storage room, but it has been converted into living quarters. There is a huge pile of gold in the center of the room. Atop it is a large, shifting creature. It shrinks down from its true form into a guise of a red-headed human male, large and intimidating. He walks towards the princess with a curious grin. "Ah, princess of the humans. Why have you disturbed my rest?" "My apologies, Lord Goliath." "Goliath the Mighty, if you will," he says through tightened eyes. "Of course, Goliath the Mighty. I trust you are finding your accommodations satisfactory?" "Why are you here, human? Surely not to be a chambermaid." "No. I have come to inquire of you. My brother says you are on our side. But why?" "Why? You do not trust me? Come to see if I will burn your wretched castle to the ground? Because I can. I may, if the whim takes me." "One of your status would not normally side with humans. So yes, I wish to know your motivation." "Look at you, acting all tough. But we both know what you are. I can smell it. I can see it. I could almost taste it. Reek of fear, of desperation. You are little more than a scared little girl. Do you know how many human children I've feasted on? Even I don't know, but I do know not as many as those I've burned with fire and might. I've laid waste to armies and foe. Despite that, here you stand, trembling, quivering. If you need to cry, I won't tell." "Why concern yourself with a human war? Why side with us? Did you not fight against my country years ago?" "So full of questions. Maybe I'll indulge. Maybe I'll burn. I'm here, which means your side has already won." "I thought Goliath the Mighty was above such civil squabbles." "See here, little rabbit. I am mighty. I am fire and fury. The days of your old foe, Arganeth. That was the last time I was truly challenged. Cut loose to burn the armies of men. Since his defeat, I've had an emptiness, a longing to burn more. Your brother and his man gave a most convincing argument. My might will rain fire again. The messenger they sent spoke his words well. His guard was turned to ash, yet he thrived in battle. That made me take notice. They promised me more battle, more conquest. The world is waiting to be taken. I finally have a challenge again. So if your little civil war is just an appetizer for the meal to come, then I shall feast well. So long as your brother promises me glory, then the mighty Goliath shall burn his foes. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll burn you. So, you intend to burn all those who stand before you? My brother's enemies? Shouldn't you say our enemies? Yes, of course. The traitors to our kingdom. Then yes. Have I passed your test of loyalty? Or will you bore me into eating you? I thank you for your time, Goliath the Mighty. Run away, rabbit. Run away. Ariel walks regally towards the door and exits. She continues to keep composure as she goes back down the corridor, turns left, then right, and gets halfway down this path before stopping and walking over to the wall. She looks up and down, checking clearly to see if anyone's around, before bursting into hyperventilation and tears. She clutches a suit of armor for support during this panic attack, and says out loud, I hope you saw that. That monster must be stopped before he can get to battle, or so many will die. Please. She flicks a switch on the side of the corridor, and Korgrin's vision ends.